Hello and welcome back to Broken Boys. This is episode 194.
Damn.
What?
And I'm Mike. You're also Colin. Sorry, you cut off there for a sec.
You're good. Yes. And
Yes.
yeah, we're going to be just talking maybe about a couple new releases.
Mm-hmm.
No real direction for this one, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be spinning a wheel, so stay tuned for that.
We will be. Stay tuned to
Or
what that wheel will be. Also.
yeah, true.
Mm-hmm.
Or all that, everything I just talked about. How was your week, Mike?
Week was fine. You know, kind of don't like saying it every week, but didn't really do too much. Some things happen. Worked a little bit on my resume with my mom. I'm hoping to, you know, have that looking better and looking nice. Did a little bit of that earlier this week. Other than that, just kind of been doing same old, working on music, working on other various stuff. That's just it's just the week to week, man.
Yeah.
But trying to keep, high hopes as well. After the the tone of last week.
Yeah.
Just trying to keep the spirits up and everything. And yeah, I mean, I've started off my end of the year listening for 2024. Starting down at the albums that I have at the bottom, like in terms of like ones I'm considering for best of the year. I'm not revisiting like that Katy Perry album or anything. But starting off seeing what's making the cut towards the bottom, and then how if I still like the placement where they're at, going up that list. It's a bit of a longer one this year, but we'll figure out how I do that when we get to the actual episode where we talk about those.
Yeah.
Yeah, but been doing that, been trucking, and
Mhm.
American Truck Simulator, of course.
Cool.
Of course. um, there was a couple times this week that it's such a random note, sorry. But there's a couple times this week where I was craving a burger. Um,
Yeah.
and so I went and got a burger twice.
Yeah.
Um, First time was from McDonald's. Shout out.
The best,
Um,
the best quality burger.
yeah, I did get a quarter pounder, so you know that. Oh,
Not
I got a
bad.
haircut too. I got that. That's
Oh,
why I got that right before the McDonald's burger. That's why I was out.
to reward yourself with a McDonald's burger after getting through your haircut without crying.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I usually, sob during that time, and
Mhm.
I kept it all in this time, and I was like, you know what, it's burger time.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it hurts so bad for your hair to get cut.
I know. I mean, that's just part of the process of a haircut, just the extreme pain of each strand getting snipped. But but yeah, I did like that once again. Basically, the promo that you gave last week or the week before about the $1 nuggets. Uh,
Ah,
I saw that and I was like, I'm gonna get some $1 nuggets with my quarter pounder. Um, and then I got
no good.
a ranch and a buffalo sauce, and you know,
Mhm.
it's a buffalo ranch. It's great. Um, but yeah, did that. Oh, and then I got another burger from that restaurant that's by your old house.
Mhm.
Got one of those today because I woke up a little earlier and I was like, I'm feeling that burger again. The McDonald's didn't satisfy me, but I think this one was better. So, um, but the I helped my dad with some leaves outside today.
Mhm.
Um, Instead of a leaf blower, we had like a leaf sucker. And it was like a vacuum. It like sucked up the leaves. Got those off like those big piles off the ground because apparently there was a previous year where he left those big piles and then it like absolutely killed the grass when the snow went over those leaves because the leaves stayed alive. um,
Oh,
and yeah, we got those big piles up, and he did like a one last mowing of the lawn of the season. Um, and then yeah, yeah, it's getting cold out. Getting cold out. Those fall vibes are for here for sure, and getting close to
yeah.
winter at this point. But
Oof.
um, yeah, woof, exactly. But working on Christmas lists and stuff too. Getting into season, getting into the swing of things. Um, Gonna have some busier next few weeks with not only you guys, we're doing like a Friendsgiving thing, but
Mhm.
then also have some my New York friend Vanessa. She's coming back. Well, I'd say New York friend. She's from here, but she's in New York now. She's coming back for the holidays, so we're meeting up this weekend with some of our other friends, and then actual Thanksgiving. So just getting into the tone and mood of that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I listened to a couple things this week. Which we can maybe talk a little more in detail about one of them. But first thing I listened to, well, I say this week I listened to new things, but really it was yesterday. I listened to a couple new things. First thing I listened to was Persona by Half Alive,
Mhm.
which I'm guessing you've listened to that as well.
Yep.
Yeah, but we'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later then. But I'll say I liked it for now. I enjoyed it.
Mhm.
And for the second thing I listened to was From Zero by Linkin Park, which I honestly don't have too much to say, so I'll just say like it was better than I expected. Like I didn't have the highest of hopes, but I don't really think it was as bad as a lot of people are rating it right now online. Like I thought I thought it was okay. It was kind of landed like smack dab in the middle of their discography for me. Um,
Mhm.
and there's some heavy bangers, some heavy riffs on there. I think Emily Armstrong does pretty well as vocalist for most of the time,
Mhm.
especially with the screaming stuff. I think she does the screaming stuff
Oh,
pretty well. Some of the singing stuff is where it gets a little iffy for me on her end, but you know, it was good. I liked it. It wasn't anything mind blowing, but it was fine. I think it's a little overhated right now, but um, yeah, that's pretty much it for me though. I don't really have too much to talk about this week. But how about you, Mister Nurture Colin over there?
well, it's all right. No, nothing too crazy. I mean, I'll talk about something crazy that happened today a little later, but
Whoa,
um, uh,
foreshadowing.
yeah. But getting over the shitty vibes of last week.
Yeah.
My morning period is basically over. There's still times where it's like ugh, but now I'm just at the point where it's like they're gonna see what's gonna happen after they did this to themselves, and I can't wait for them to have it blow up in their faces. But
Yeah.
um, yeah. Otherwise, I've been playing a lot of Stardew. Been playing a lot of Stardew.
Mm.
Lots and lots. I love that game. It's very fun, very calming. It's a very good game to do while you're watching or listening to things.
Yeah.
And I listened to a good couple things this week.
Mm.
I listened to Nurture by Porter Robinson.
Whoa.
What?
Shocker. That's a good
Which
one though. Yeah.
yeah, I really enjoyed that. Needed a little vibe for the week. It's different from a good bit different from Smile that
Yeah.
came out this year, but I did like the vibes a lot. It was very soothing, very fitting to the album cover. Um, and yeah, I like the vibes a lot. Very cool, very nice, very sweet. I'll have to listen to it more to like really solidify my thoughts, but I
Mm.
liked it. Um, and then I also listened to Scrapyard by
Whoa.
Quanka.
You're getting
Um,
really terminally online this week.
yeah. I just I figured it was time.
Yeah.
I put it off for a long while. Same. I did the same thing with
I didn't mean to haunt you.
yes.
Yeah.
And I'm having a similar thought process as I did when I first listened to that album, and then I'm feeling like I need another listen to really have it grow on me.
Yeah.
But I did like it a good bit. I just some of it I was like, eh. And I don't think I'd like it nearly as much as a lot of people do online. A lot of people on Album of the Year has a pretty good rating.
Mm-hmm.
I did enjoy it. I think the back half of the record was better in my opinion, but
I would probably agree with you actually, but
it's just it was. I wasn't expecting it to be the same as I Didn't Mean to Haunt You. Like that's a great concept record with a lot of very cool ideas on it, and Scrapyard is a cool record with a lot of ideas on it. But
yeah.
I am a sucker for a cool concept, and I Didn't Mean to Haunt You has that.
Yeah.
So it was different. It was good. I liked it. I think I need more listens to really
Yeah.
for it to grow on me, like I did with I Didn't Mean to Haunt. I Didn't Mean to Haunt You, because that one, when I first listened to it, I was like mid.
Yeah, you were a hater for a little bit,
I
even
was
after listening.
but yeah, it did grow on me quite a bit. So I feel like Scrapyard could do the same.
Yeah, I think that I mean Scrapyard grew on me too. Like the first time I listened to it, I thought it was good, but I didn't like love it. But now I'm definitely more at the love level with it. And I think I've seen that with a lot of people who have talked about the album, is that it is a bit of a grower just because there's kind of so many ideas all over the place on it.
Mhm.
But like it all kind of it kind of makes more sense the more you listen to it as a whole, especially some of the earlier tracks, like some of those like huge atmospheres that are built there. Like I feel like you grow more appreciation for on more listens, but
Yeah.
or you could not, you never know what happens. But yeah.
Yeah, I liked it, and I'll return to it. But and then I also listened to From Zero by Linkin Park, which I enjoyed a good bit. I think that it is definitely getting overhated, and I believe that this record is leagues better than the last few albums in the Linkin Park discography.
Mm.
Being fresh off of listening to those a few weeks ago, it's
Yeah,
like,
we are very
yeah,
fresh. Yeah.
yeah, this could have been a lot worse. And
That was my exact album of the year review, was just this could have been a lot worse. That's all I said.
and it's true
Yeah.
because yeah, like this could have been One More Light too, and you don't want that.
Nope.
But I think that it did a good job of bringing back those feelings from like Hybrid Theory and Meteora. There were a couple songs, namely Two Faced, which I thought brought those vibes back a good bit.
Yeah.
I liked that track a lot. I think Emily Armstrong is great at the screaming. I think that her and Chester both have very good talents for screaming within the songs.
Mm-hmm.
I also wasn't like huge on her singing for a couple of tracks, but there were a couple points where I was like, okay, not too bad, not too bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I
It is.
was sorry.
You're good.
I was just gonna say, after I said that, and as you were talking about it, I remembered that there is a really good singing moment she has in the last track, where like she's kind of like rising in the
Yeah.
chorus, and it's actually very impressive. I agree with you. It's only on a couple of the songs where the singing's like, ooh, this is a little poppy singing. Like the auto tune and voice correction is pretty obvious and whatever, but
Yeah.
it's not all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just it. Like I said, could have been a lot worse. It is
Yes.
definitely it's getting overhated. I do think it's more reminiscent of like when they went into like the pop rock, alt rock kind of thing. It's more like that than Meteor and Hybrid Theory, but it does have hints of those first couple in there, which I was very appreciative of.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked it. There were only like one or two tracks where I was like, meh. But that last track and Two Face were like really good standouts on there. And also I liked the one that's on the Arcane soundtrack.
Is that on the album?
I think it's on the Arcane soundtrack. The
Or no, I meant like I meant on like From Zero. Is it on there or is it a
yeah,
different
Heavy is
track?
the Crown. I think
Oh,
Heavy.
okay. Yeah, that is a
Yeah,
good one. I like that one a lot too.
yeah. But yeah, like I would recommend it. I think it's like I said, leagues better than the last few records in the Linkin Park discography. I know people are missing Chester a lot. I miss him too. And they're a little iffy on the background of Emily Armstrong, but I would still give the album a listen and have an open mind.
Yeah, I agree.
But I also listened to Persona by Half Alive, and we can talk about that a bit later.
Mm-hmm.
But I did enjoy it.
Cool.
I watched a good few things this week as well. I watched a movie called Woman of the Hour, which is it's based on a real serial killer who appeared on the dating game show
Like
back in this
like one from the '60s. I think you were just about to say that, but
the 60s or 70s. I think
oh,
it's the
okay,
70s.
okay.
But Anna Kendrick is her directorial debut.
Oh,
She also starred in it, and it's very good. I would definitely go recommend watching that one.
what was it called
It's
again?
Woman of the Hour
Woman of the Hour. Okay.
on Netflix. But yeah, she did a great job directing. I think she also did a great job acting as well. The moments with like the serial killer and the killings were disturbing and upsetting,
Mm.
which obviously. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was. I knew about a story of a serial killer appearing on a game show back in the 70s or whatever, but I didn't know anything about it, and it was cool to learn more about that.
Yeah.
But
I've
I
never
would
heard of that story before. That sounds interesting though.
it is. I would recommend watching that. Other couple things I watched were rewatches, but I hadn't seen them in a while. I watched Inside by Bo Burnham,
Yo.
which you know. I said I was mostly out of my morning period, and this was a bad moment in
Yeah.
my.
little nihilistic relapse. Yeah.
And I'm upset to say that this still resonates with me, but
Mm.
I love it very much. I can still sing along to all the songs, and um, God, back in 2021, I was in a dark place. So I remember I watched that
Yeah.
like seven times the week it came out. So
Yeah. Speaking of that, I might like on my one TikTok fiasco that I had this week, I think. Um I saw someone did like a 2024 like update to like current events right now with That Funny Feeling.
yeah,
Um just talk about like the Rizzler on Jimmy Fallon and stuff like that. And it's like, man, this really is like a song that could just be the absurdism. Just it like I don't know. He hit something beautiful with that track that like I actually love that people can just keep adapting it as time goes on with just like what are we doing? What is happening? Like it's depressingly beautiful and just yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it really is, and I look forward to people adapting it for years to come.
Yeah.
But that was a really good video, and I really love Inside. If you haven't seen Inside, don't watch it in a bad place, but
Yeah.
it's good. And then I
Also,
also. Hmm?
I was just gonna say also it you need to kind of have I feel like you need to have the 2020 context with it too. I mean
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm sure it's pretty obvious, but like yeah, it's pretty needed for that film, I would say. Yeah.
That is true. It did come out in 2021, and he worked on
Right.
it the entirety of 2020. But it was very like, oh, this is one of the first made in quarantine projects that made it out, and it really resonates with that
Yeah.
quarantine mindset. So put yourself back in that time,
Mm-hmm.
as fun as it was. Um,
Yeah. Grand old
but
time.
oh yeah. Um, but I also watched, and we also rewatched Tick Tick Boom.
Mm.
Um, I was on a Netflix kick this week, I guess.
I guess so.
All of these are Netflix originals, but Tick Tick Boom, great. Directed by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Starring Andrew Garfield. Awesome soundtrack. Really great story of Jonathan Larson, who was the creator of Rent, which is a gigantic musical that I've never seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, really great. I love that movie a lot. But otherwise, at work, I've been in the kitchen most of the week on the table wrapping up sandwiches.
Nice.
I've been trying to get back there for like 2 weeks, and finally this week I was like, "Can I please go over there?" And they were like, "Yeah, all right." And then I've been back there a good most of the week. I was there for my whole shift today, and I like it back there. It's I'd much rather be back there during a rush than up front, because while it can be a little hectic trying to wrap things, and I drop a good bit of nuggets on the floor, it beats dealing with customers any day. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically it for my week. I'll talk about that big thing that happened today when we get into news. But
Okay.
yeah, in music news, do I have anything written down other than
I
the
have a couple
thing?
things.
Yeah, you go.
Oh, okay. Clipping released another track from their upcoming album that's coming out next year, I think they said. It's called Keep Pushing, and I don't remember how much I talked about the last track, but it had like a really like dancey kind of EDM-ish feel. Maybe not completely like that, but you know, it had flavors of that mixed with clipping stuff. And this one also kind of does the same thing, except it's like strangely meditative at the same way too. Like, and like it was right after, you know, um, they released it, you know, after, you know, the whole election thing. And the
Yeah.
song is literally, you know, just about keep pushing, keep on pushing through, pretty much. And it's a very uplifting song from clipping in a way, but it's also very clipping sounding, and I think it's done really well. Like I'm not sure how much you remember from when we did their artist analysis, but whenever David is singing, it's kind of hit or miss sometimes.
Yeah.
But like this is probably one of my favorite hooks that he's ever done. It's just really subtle and laid back, and like fits his voice really well. It's a good track. And yeah, I have something else too. I don't know if how long this has been announced. I think it's been announced for a little bit, but we didn't talk about it last week because other things. But apparently, that festival you were talking about, the When We Were Young festival,
Yeah.
that Mike Chem did this year. Apparently, they already announced next year's thing, and Panic at the Disco is going to be performing the entirety of A Fever You Can't Sweat Out.
Oh, we didn't talk about this. I
I
thought we
don't.
talked about it.
I don't. Wait, did we? We
I don't
might.
think we did,
Yeah.
because
Okay. Because I think I was seeing that Panic posted about it at the end of October. Um. But but yeah, I saw that recently somewhere, and then I like went to Panic's Instagram to see if that was real, and they posted about that. And but then all the comments are just like, "What do you mean by we are returning with this album? What does we mean here?" um. Uh kind of doubt that we're getting any big reunion of those four, but if that were to happen, that would be pretty huge. But also at the same time, I don't know how much I want to be supporting Brendan Urie at this point. But you know,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
very on the line for me.
very much is.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as nothing else controversial happens uh, in the near future, or at any point, you know, he can stay on that thin line for me. But you know, he's pushing it.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
uh,
forgetting right now. Do you remember how much I think Ryan Russ, he only does like background vocal stuff on A Fever, doesn't he? Except for maybe a couple lines or something. But
it's
because I know like
mostly,
on oh sorry,
uh,
what was that? Mostly
it's
background?
mostly, yeah.
Yeah, because remember on like Pretty Odd, he has like Behind the Sea and like She Had the World, where he has like solo moments and stuff like that. But so I guess they theoretically could do with, you know, just Brendan and backup band. um,
Yeah,
but I don't know. I thought that was interesting, at least though.
yeah.
Um,
I just don't see. I I think that Ryan Ross is still like an integral part of those first couple
oh, for
albums.
sure.
I think that without him on stage performing with Brendan during the entirety of Fever, I think it's gonna be a bit shitty, especially with
Yeah,
how fluffed up Brendan Urie's voice is um, and how he's gonna try and show off his vocals as much as he can, and it's gonna
yeah,
go up in his face because there's nothing on a Fever that really does things like on Death of a Bachelor, Pray for the Wicked, or Viva Las Vengeance, where he's like really trying to hit those high notes and
yeah.
going crazy and everything.
Not yet.
Um, I
Yeah.
can't wait for I Write Sins slowed down and sped up.
Oh man, yeah. I hope they play the slowed and reverb version of Nails for Breakfast, Tax for Snacks, or whatever. The
Oh,
auto tune. um, but yeah. And then in another interesting I guess concert lineup thing, Linkin Park announced that they're going on tour, which makes sense. But what I thought was interesting is apparently JPEG Mafia is
yeah.
opening up for them, and I'm just like, whoa, that's, I mean, terminally online people are gonna love that, but like a typical Linkin Park fan base being exposed to JPEG Mafia sounds like that'll be an experience for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's gonna be something. I don't know how many tour dates he's on, but yeah,
it was
I would,
it was a decent chunk.
yeah, I would love to see the reaction to JPEG of the with the Linkin Park casual fan listeners.
Yeah.
Because wow, I also saw Grandson is up there, so
Oh, awesome.
yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah. What a favorite opener I've ever seen, right next to Max Frost.
Oh,
But and then the only other thing I have, this isn't music news, but it is music related. And you may have already seen this, but this like blew my mind, I think last Saturday. Um uh I don't even remember where I first saw this, but like apparently the Lady Gaga song Poker Face, right? Poker Face, right?
yeah, right.
Yeah. Apparently this whole entire time that lyric right there that I was just singing is poker face, and then the second part is fuck her face,
What?
and that's like an actual thing. Like it's always been poker face, fuck her face.
No, it hasn't.
No, I'm like not even kidding right now, and she's confirmed that too, like on stage, and like when you listen to the song, you can kind of hear it actually.
Is it on like the Genius lyric page?
It's
Is
on
it
the
like
Genius as well, but like that, I feel like that's less
reputable?
less reputable than her actually saying that that's what it
Right.
is. Um, yeah, but like so like that song was huge, and like it wasn't really censored at all because people didn't realize it. And that's like kind of insane. I was just like, whoa. Apparently, like people found or were talking about it on TikTok at some point. And I never saw it on there, but yeah, I was just like mind blown by that, and I was just like, whoa. How'd
Yeah,
you get away with that? That's crazy.
that's it's fucking crazy. But
Yeah.
hey, if anyone's gonna get away with it, it's gonna be Lady Gaga, I guess.
Queen Gaga, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but that's all I have for music news. Did you find anything in your notes?
Yeah. My Chemical Romance.
Oh, yes. I'm sure that wasn't in your notes. I think that was at the forefront of your brain.
Yes. My Chemical Romance posted a cryptic video
Mm,
earlier this a still which was like I don't know. I'm assuming it's the Russian lettering for MCR.
okay.
Um, but they posted that, and then I forget what the blurb was in the description of that Instagram post. But I was like, oh, are we getting a new song? We getting something cool? And then I think Monday they released a little video, a little like I don't know, like a video of like a dictator looking person uh, walking out into like a crowd and it's all black and white outside, and there's confetti coming down from the sky, and then it says "My Chemical Romance: The Black Parade," live,
Oh,
and they're doing I forget how many dates. I think it's like 9.
Mm.
9 dates in like from like L.A. to New York, New Jersey, or New York or something.
Mm.
But yeah, they're playing the Black Parade. I assume the whole album, and I'm hoping more. With different people, with different bands opening for them across the country. I think LA has the Wallows. Florida has Evanescence.
For some reason, when you said Florida, I just thought you were gonna say Florida Georgia Line. How?
That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
No, it's Evanescence,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
would be great. But in Chicago, they got Devo opening up for them, and
I don't know who that is.
Whip It Real Good.
Oh, okay.
And that's the only song I know by them.
Yeah.
But I better study up
Yeah.
because motherfucker, I'm going to see My Chemical Romance.
He's going to Disneyland.
I'm going there.
Yeah.
I'm seeing My Chemical Romance in August of 2025, an excruciating 287 days away, and I cannot wait.
Isn't that crazy? You can say that sentence. I'm seeing My Chemical Romance in 2025.
It
Yeah.
is because when I got into the band in 5th grade, when I was 11 or 12,
Something like that.
uh, they were about to break up, and there was no hope of seeing them for until 2019, and then COVID happened, and then they played Riot Fest, and I was like, I'm not going to buy a festival ticket just for My Chemical Romance.
Right.
Even though I would have, but it was just like at that point I was like, I'm good. They might do it again, and little did I know, well, as I thought they were going to do it again. All of my siblings were like, "Oh, dude, I want to go!" Like they all texted me separately, like links to the video,
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
also like, what do you want to go? Are we going? Um, and like my youngest brother Noah, he was like, I wish I could go, but I don't have money. I'm like, well, maybe if the tickets aren't like crazy or something, I can buy tickets for both of us. You can pay me back. And he's like, yeah, we could probably do that. And then my sibling June was like, well, I assume tickets are going to be over $100. I don't have a lot of money, and I have to work right when tickets go on sale, so I don't think I'm going to be able to go.
Oh
I
man.
don't know. I don't know about my sister. They have not texted me back. But I waited in queue. I got the nice anxious stomach clench going for like an hour prior to the tickets going on sale. And I got in. There were like 5,000 people in front of me. But it's at Soldier Field in Chicago, which is a football stadium,
Yeah.
a professional football stadium, which is a very big venue. So I was like, okay, that's not bad. And I knew I finna had to be in the pit. So I was
Yeah.
like, so I was like, you know what? As long as the pit doesn't sell out, it's fine. If it does, then I'll be in a seated section. I don't care. But I got in, and I went. The first thing I clicked on was the pit, and tickets were. I want to. It was at like it automatically goes to 2 tickets, so it was like
Really?
6. Yeah. Well,
Interesting.
you don't have to buy 2 tickets.
Oh.
But it was like it starts off at 2 tickets, and it was like 690 something.
Woo!
I was like, I texted Noah. I was like, I don't think I can afford that right now.
Yeah.
I was like, so I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
I gotta do this for me. And
Yeah.
I remember,
This is for me.
you know,
I'm sorry.
so I bought my ticket, and it was close to $400.
Yeah.
But it's worth it, and it was a big youch to my wallet, but I got more
But a
than like
big smile to your face.
oh yeah, yap my wallet, smile on my face,
Yeah.
and I got almost a year to make that money back, so I
Hmm.
don't really care. Um, I'm just I'm very excited, and it's gonna be very cool. Um, and a part of my inner child, I think, is going to be healed that night. But
Yeah. So you just
that's all.
plan to go by yourself then?
Yeah, I mean, unless Maddie's got a ticket and she hasn't texted me,
Right.
we'll see. But
Yeah.
uh,
That should
yeah,
still be great regardless, though.
yeah, it'll be my first concert alone,
Yeah.
and that's okay because I will enjoy it nonetheless. But
Absolutely.
I'll talk about that when we get there. But like I said, it is 289 days away, so
You're gonna keep a count every podcast episode. You're just gonna go down by
I,
7 each time.
I should do
Yeah.
that.
Welcome to episode 195. We are 280 days away, or whatever. Yeah.
It's, yeah, very excited. It's gonna be very cool. I was when they were posting this stuff originally. I was really hoping for another song or album announcement or something. I still have hopes that one day we will get something new.
Yeah.
Because Foundations of Decay was really great, and I would love more of that. But for now, I will take a live performance of the Black Parade any fucking day of the week. So
Yeah. It's funny because I'm realizing right now the way you talk about like my chem with when you got into them and then they stopped or they went on indefinite hiatus pretty much.
yeah,
Um, in some ways it is similar to I got into Radiohead like in 2016, which is when they were touring a Moon Shaped Pool, and I would love to see them. I mean, I guess I could probably go see a show from the Smile at some point, but you know. If they were to ever do something like that, I would probably be in the same shoes as you, just like
yeah.
copping myself a ticket. This could be the last time. They're kind of old. Um, yeah,
I would definitely need to go see Radiohead too. I think that'd
yeah,
be great. But yeah, that's gonna be very cool. I'm very excited. But in news, I get Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson is happening tonight.
yeah.
I hope Jake Paul gets knocked into heaven or something
Yeah,
because
something of the sort.
because he did at their weigh-in last night. I think they were like doing like the last pictures and stuff, like facing off after they got weighed in, and Jake Paul decided to like crawl on stage like a gorilla towards Mike Tyson.
Um,
Um, a little racist,
yeah,
and got the shit slapped out of him for it by Mike Tyson. Um,
yeah.
and almost started the fight then and there. So I'm gonna watch that after the pod. I'm hoping that it's still going on afterwards because I really want to see Jake Paul absolutely eat shit unless there's like a contract to make it so Jake Paul wins. But I really hope that's not the case. I don't think Mike Tyson would do that.
Yeah,
But I'm hoping both ears come off. I'm hoping both
yeah,
both arms get ripped out of the socket. Just something
yeah.
crazy.
Some body mutilation for a boy, Jake Paul. Yeah.
Something. It would be great. I'm really looking forward to seeing something from that. The Onion, which is a parody news account that makes up fake stories and has like a fake newspaper.
Yeah.
Does satirical videos that parody real life, but could at times definitely be for real.
Mm.
And they did do something for real this week, and that was buy Infowars, which is formerly the show of Sandy Hook denier Alex Jones,
Mm-hmm. They're
and
turning the freaking frogs gay.
yeah, that
Yeah.
as well. And the whole reason Infowars had to be sold was because he lost a case against the Sandy Hook parents, because he kept saying that wasn't real, it was fake. That didn't happen, and then they sued his ass for like millions of dollars,
Yeah.
and he finally, the repercussions are catching up with him, and he had to sell off Infowars, and the Onion bought that right up, and I'm so glad that they hadn't did that shit because that's just hilarious, dude.
Yeah, you sent us a picture, like the CEO of The Onion or something. It's just like I thought it'd be like so funny. I respect that so much.
I don't know. I don't know how much money it is, or how much money it was for it to be auctioned off, but every penny was worth it, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
But that was very cool. Trump's at it this week with the the people that he intends to put in his cabinet
Yeah.
when he is inaugurated, and boy, is it some fun stuff.
Hmm.
Um, a Fox News host who hasn't washed his hands in 10 years is going to be the Secretary of Defense.
Awesome.
He has a college degree in like military stuff, I believe, but he's been behind the desk at Fox News for like 10 years, so um, hasn't put that to use at all. Matt Gaetz, who is a alleged child sex trafficker,
Mm.
uh, is going to be the Attorney General. I'm not sure what the role of Attorney General is exactly, but I know it's a big one, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is
Shout
going to
out.
be shout out, brainy amoebas.
Yep.
He's going to be the head of health, or something like that.
Yeah. I know it has
And
something to do with that because I know I've heard, well, since it's been announced that he wants him for that position, that RFK is a vaccine denier.
yeah, vaccine denier. He is personally responsible for a measles outbreak in a country that killed uh, 80 people, mostly children.
Wow.
Uh, he he ate rotting meat that gave him brainy amoebas. He talks a lot. He's
Hmm.
it's gonna be great. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Um, and also Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk are going to be the head of a new department in the government that Trump wants to start, called the Department of Government Efficiency, I think.
Hmm.
Uh, and it's for short, Doge. Um,
Oh,
yeah.
I wonder whose idea that one was.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Crazy.
it's yeah, it's going to try to tackle the efficiency of where money is going in the government, which in in a broad sense, that's a good idea for a department because there's a lot of money that goes to places that shouldn't go in the government, and there's a lot of money that could be relocated to more good things. But I feel like a lot of this money is going to go towards Elon Musk and his projects, and
Yeah, I don't think the richest man in the world should be controlling that.
no. um yeah, I don't know if there have been any others. I think there's like there's I don't remember her name, but a woman was appointed to another position, and she self-reported like killing a puppy and ditching its body somewhere. uh I don't remember
Um,
what
okay.
I don't remember what department she's gonna be in, but the head of, but that's the thing. um but yeah, we'll get back to you with more crazy cabinet picks next week. But
So we're still talking about the onion right now, right?
I wish.
Yeah.
Something that I was going to bring up that could be an Onion article was I saw, I think, discussing film, which is they're a pretty reputable account that updates on films and things
Yeah.
and TV shows. Apparently, Joe Exotic, the head of the star of Tiger King, which was big in
Mm.
2020.
Also
Um,
star of Fortnite Friday with Connor Eats Pants, but yes.
yeah, along with George Santos, but
Yes.
yeah, he sent a message or sent a letter to Trump about wanting to be like the head of some wildlife and nature department or
Yeah.
something like that. And that could definitely be an Onion article, but that was real.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I hope that happens. To be honest, that'd be
Yeah.
hilarious. But
See,
yeah,
these are all things you could put in that funny feeling 2025 edition. Like seriously.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Having a official government department being called Doge.
Yeah.
Uh, Yay! Yeah, I really can't wait for this to blow up in everybody's face. It's gonna be hilarious and also destructive, but hilarious. Um, yeah, but super fun. Uh, also, he laid out his Trump laid out his plans to uh, fix education in America, which is getting rid of the Department of Education.
Mm.
Which is not going to do anything but destroy education in America, which is what the Republican Party needs to win because that's where they get the votes from, is uneducated white people.
Yeah.
So, great. Um, but yeah, that's about all I got for news.
Yeah.
Uh,
Awesome.
but yeah, we didn't talk about an album that we brought up earlier in the episode.
Mm.
New release from uh, good band, Half Alive.
Yeah.
We have Persona, great game,
Mm.
which
There's
came
five
out.
of them. Yeah.
Yeah, all five are great. I've heard. Um, but yeah, Persona came out last night, and why don't you start off with your thoughts?
I had a lot of thoughts, honestly. And I'm gonna kind of sum it up a little bit more. I wrote a very long album of the year review of it. If anyone's more interested in more in-depth thoughts on it. But overall, I do like it more than Conditions of a Punk. I guess just for a brief overview, Now Not Yet, their first album, I absolutely love. Even though there's definitely flaws with it, and I don't think it's objectively one of the best albums, I do consider it to be in my favorite albums just because of how high quality the high moments on that album are. Like it's a fantastic work, and it's something that really got me into the band. And then Conditions of a Punk, very messy rollout, very confusing time for that, and it was very bloated, very long, and a very mixed bag of tracks, especially for me.
Yeah.
I think it ranged from really good songs on there to some of their lowest moments. um, and it was a mess. But it kind of blended down to very mediocre and forgettable, to be honest. And then this album, I do think it's a step in the right direction. I think it's good. I think the strong moments are very strong. Like I'm liking Sophie's House a little bit more now. Automatic is another. Actually, I like all the singles that they have. But Sophie's
Yeah.
House, Automatic, and Songs, I think are all great tracks. And I think there's other good things to happen on here too. Like the Lie Lie has been growing on me a bit today. I think that one has a really strong and catchy hook and stuff. But I really was digging a lot of the acoustic cuts on here a little more than some of the 80s inspired things. The whole album kind of takes more of an 80s turn, which I'm not a big fan of right now. I mean, I haven't really been a big fan of the 80s sounding music from like everyone of the last since The Weeknd was doing it in 2020 basically. um, it's been a very hit or miss genre for me, and I don't think Half Alive really bring anything too interesting to the sound, to be honest. So like, you know, songs like People, I'm not huge on. Bleed It Out, I wasn't huge on. And like All My Love and The Point, I was kind of meh on as well. But like I started that sentence out saying, I do think some of the acoustic stuff are very strong on here. Songs has grown on me even more. Like I think it's just a really maturely written track from them, and it actually kind of feels like the songwriting from Now Not Yet, at least to me. Like
Yeah.
it feels like it's just like really idealized and really personal and really touching. And I really love Jordana. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I think she does really well complimenting Josh on there. And I like Long Drive with Casey Hill. I think that's a really nice atmospheric little track with some nice sentiments to it as well. And then Thank You, I think, is a really great closer too. Also very stripped back and acoustic. So I was enjoying those moments more than I was the actual meat and depth of the content on the album, to be honest. But it's not to say I do like the album. I think it's good, but I do think it has its low points for me personally. But yeah, yeah, I think that sums up. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I feel kind of the same. I going into it, I was glad that the rollout was a lot more concise and a lot
Yes.
more well done than Conditions of a Punk. Because with that, we had the whole "Give Me Your Shoulders" part one, and then Conditions of a Punk, which was like super weird and like very disjointed and strange.
Yeah.
And then, like you were saying, with Conditions of a Punk, very long, very bloated, very hit or miss. And while I do like a good bit of Conditions of a Punk, there are a lot of forgettable moments on there, and a lot of very and a lot of that. Sorry,
You're
some of the
good.
stuff on there is definitely their worst work, which is sophomore slump. There's a reason that that's a thing.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that's Persona. I like it quite a bit. I think that they did a good job of blending the ideas and feelings from both Now Not Yet and Conditions of a Punk, and blending it with that very like 80s sound, like you were talking about, um, that has been so popular the last few years. Um, I think there were a couple moments on here where I heard where I was like listening and I heard some glimmers of Now Not Yet, and I got very excited,
Yeah.
um, because wow, that was such a great debut, and I love the sounds and ideas on there, and I would love for them to go back to that, but I don't know if they will at this point, and that's okay. But
Yeah.
um, there were some glimmers of it, and it was very exciting. But I think that the acoustic tracks are my favorite parts as well. I loved Long Drive, Songs, and Thank You. I think those are all really great tracks. Lie Lie was honestly my least favorite on first listen, but I listened to it like one more time, and it started to grow on me. It was very fun.
Yeah.
Um, I also liked the singles. I think Automatic is probably my favorite track on the album.
Yeah.
It's super fun, super punchy. I think Josh's vocals on all the albums on the entirety of the album are pretty good
Agreed.
all
Yeah.
throughout. But yeah, I don't know. I think I need more listens. But with the one and a half that I gave it, I enjoyed it. I think that it could be better. I would love them to go back in that direction, like I was saying, of Now Not Yet. But I think that they do a good job with that 80s sound. I would love something a little more out of the ordinary, because that 80s sound has become very ordinary.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Um, but yeah, like I said, need more listens. But I was surprised by how much I liked it, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's all very fair. Yeah. Something else that I guess I wanted to touch on is that I touched on in my review as well, is part of the reason why Now Not Yet resounds so much with me is because it did then, and honestly I still think it does feel super unique to like the niche of indie pop that they're in, like that 21 Pilots, AJR ish sound, um I think they really carved out like this cool little section for themselves that like felt true to themselves with Now Not Yet. And I think I put in my review, it's like that album felt like it was innovative, and then ever since then it's almost felt like they're more derivative of other
Mm.
things. Like they don't feel like they're pushing boundaries that much anymore, which is part of the reason why on this album I'm just like, it's 80s themed because it's like that's what everyone's doing. Like again, it's just kind of into that derivative thing, and I agree with you. I don't think it's bad. I think I actually do think it's good overall, but um, yeah. But also I just wanted to mention that the production on here is a lot better than some of the stuff on
Uh,
Conditions of a Punk, and then also what you were saying with the vocals, they are a lot better on here too. During Conditions of a Punk and like some of the singles afterwards, Josh really had like this kind of like rambly vocal style that he was doing a lot, like for
yeah,
verses and stuff. That was just kind of like, I don't know, it just kind of felt like he was rambling journal excerpts, which was kind of cool the first few times, but he kept doing it. It was like, I just want some melodies, man. But like that's a lot better on here. Like it's a lot more catchy melody focused things, which I think is good for sure.
yeah,
But yeah.
yeah. And I do think on Now Not Yet there's plenty of influence from like older
Oh,
pop
for sure.
music.
Yeah.
Like still feel is very 80s. I think.
70s,
I think
80s. Yeah.
70s, 80s. Yeah, I think Arrow has some of that as well. But they definitely leaned a lot more into that 80s 70s pop sound, um, and that's okay. But like I said, um, next album, next cycle, whatever. I would love to hear something more unique and more just like interesting,
Yeah.
like they were on their debut. But if you haven't listened to Now Not Yet, highly recommend it.
Oh, me too. Fantastic album.
Banger. But Persona, I would also recommend it. I think it's a good time,
Yeah.
mostly.
Yeah, I think it's good. I was glad to hear that you enjoyed the acoustic cuts on it too, because sometimes I don't know, sometimes on albums I get like that, or I'm just like, I really like the acoustic stuff, but not the actual things. I'm just like, is this just me being, an acoustic enjoyer? um,
Yeah, acoustic stuff is great.
yeah,
I
no,
love it.
like I think his voice shined really well on all those tracks. Like it was great. But yeah, I wouldn't even be mad if they leaned into that further.
No,
but
me either.
But yeah, I think it's good. A good step in the right direction. I like it more than Conditions of a Punk. But yeah,
Yeah, me too.
cool. Alrighty. Well, we could probably do a little wrap in here. We got a little wheel to spin, a little wheel of broken cality. And but before we do that, we have Song of the Week.
Yeah.
And I am up first this week. Um, hmm. I think I'm going to go. Last week I listened to an album by Gene Dawson, and it was recommended to me by a friend of the pod, Dane. He recommended me the album, and I listened to it a little bit more this week, and I do like it a little bit more. But one of the songs that I was loving a lot on there is called Hold on, let me make sure. I'm pretty sure it's called Darlin'. It's the first song on the album. Yes, it's called Darlin', and I think I'm gonna go with that for my song of the week. So I'm gonna go with Darlin' by Gene Dawson.
Cool.
Do you like flowers?
All right, that was Darlin' by Gene Dawson. What'd you think of that, Colin?
I honestly love that. Very, very smooth, very sweet. His voice is great. Um, that instrumental is super sweet as well.
Yeah.
If the rest of the album is in that vein, I might have to check it out because I really, really liked that song.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the weird thing about this album. The rest of it isn't really like this, to be honest with you. It's a very all over the place album, like intentionally so.
Yeah.
But like there's other glimmers of this type of production and sound throughout the album. It's definitely worth a listen.
Yeah.
But this is a song that like each time I kept coming back, I'm like, this is a really really good intro. Like you were saying, the instrumentation, the vocals, like it just sounds super smooth and super sweet, and it's very soulful, and yeah, it's one of my favorite tracks on that album for sure. But there's other good stuff on there too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, man, check it out. That was
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah. What do you
Well,
got?
Well, I was gonna go with something off of Nurture, but I think I need more listens. And the song that I wanted to pick, you already picked when you listened to Nurture yourself.
Let's go.
So, it's all good. But I really did like that song off of From Zero, so I'm gonna go with Two Faced by Linkin Park.
All right.
All right, that was Two Faced by Linkin Park. What'd you think, Mike?
That's a great track. That's one of my favorites from the album as well. They kind of, the riff goes really hard. Emily Armstrong's vocals go really hard as well. And like it's one of the better choruses on the record for sure too. Very very memorable and catchy. And then they do like that breakdown. I'm sure there's an actual name for it. But like
Yeah.
a lot of metal stuff does, like where like it kind of gets quiet for a second, then just like goes all in. They do that quite a lot on this album, but this is one of the best moments of it. Like it just it goes so hard at that moment. Yeah, it's got a lot of great energy to it. It's a great track.
Yeah. When I was saying that there were moments that were very reminiscent of Hybrid Theory and Meteora, this was definitely one of the main tracks that were reminiscent. Because, God, this could have definitely been on Meteora and fit perfectly.
Yeah.
I think I think Emily Armstrong's vocals were fantastic. The screams were great. Very very Chester coded. I think Mike Shinoda. This is like one of the examples of the things that I was, the thing that I was missing in the last good chunk of albums from their discography prior was like the working off of each other of the two front people, and I think this song is that perfectly, and I love it, and it's great. And I love the chorus, and it goes hard, and it's got those cool new metal wiki woos, and it's great. I love that track. Definitely go check that out in full, and also the album. Like I said, have an open mind.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, before we wrap things up, we got a little wheel to spin, and I know I've been teasing all episode, but this wheel is it's a wheel that we do every 5 episodes, where we do a little thing called artist analysis, and we pick what artist we are going to analyze in the next week. So we will be listening to all of the albums from whoever we spin. And then we'll be giving our thoughts, initial thoughts, next week, once we have listened. We've been doing this for a while. Let's see. I mean, not in a bad way. I said that like it was a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I enjoy this segment a lot. All right. Okay, I am so ready.
Maybe turn it sideways. Will that be better for the pod?
Yes, actually, yes. Thank you. Thank you for thinking
right.
of the pod listeners and viewers.
Of course.
Always. All right, who's it gonna be? Ooh.
Oh. Then.
Okay. Oh yeah,
Cool.
that kept going. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Anderson Paak. We should probably learn before next week.
But I always pronounce it Pack.
But... I kind of switch it up every time. I like being a little on. You never know. Well, it's looking. Okay, so we might have to do a little bit of research on this. It looks like there's 4 under the Anderson Paak name, but he does have. No, I think we should just do 4 of them. I think we should do 4. Right. So it starts at Venice, I think, and then we got Malibu, Oxnard, and then Ventura. So all 4 albums.
California city names.
Yes, they are. I've driven to a few of those in Truck Driver Simulator. It's actually kind of funny. I didn't know Oxnard was a city, but I knew it was an Anderson Paak album title. So I started playing that game. I was like, oh, that makes sense. That's where you got that from. But yeah, Anderson Paak. One half of Silk Sonic. Yeah.
Oh boy, these are longins.
What's that?
These are longins.
Are they?
Yeah. Well, the last one isn't, but the other 3 are an hour or close to it. So.
Yeah. Well, Good thing there's only 4.
Yes.
Alrighty. Well, cool.
Cool.
Alrighty. Well, look forward next week to the Anderson Paak / Pack artist analysis.
Yeah.
Artist analysis.
We won't be talking about Silk Sonic, but you can go listen to a pretty old episode at this point, where we talked about the entirety of that album.
Yeah.
Time.
I still there's a few things that I do track the beginning of this pod with. One of them being Chuckle Sandwich, which we talked about last week.
Yeah.
But then also I think it was the second week of our podcast when Leave the Door Open came out.
Yeah.
So yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, all right. Well, yeah, we will get into that next week. But before we do that, we gotta leave you guys all off with a nice pillowy goodbye, little wordy goodbye, but it's okay. We do it every week, and we try to spice it up. So, I don't know what I'm saying. Sorry. But audio listeners, if you're listening on streaming services, we love you to death. We always say that. We always will say that. And you can't get that from any other podcast.
Soon, we will be the only podcast that says that.
Exactly. Give it some time. But audio listeners, love you to death. You can come on over to YouTube, where we're under the same name, BrokeN Bois, capital N Bois. And you can see our beautiful profile pictures of one of the members of podcasts that shall not be named that I named a second ago, and also Porter Robinson in a beautiful field of flowers from the Nurture album cover. I do love that album cover. I think I've mentioned that before on this pod, but that's honestly one of my favorites. It's so nice. Yeah, you can come check out those, and also in the description we got links to a whole bunch of stuff. We have links to the Song of the Week playlist, that little segment that we just did. Well, not just did, we just spun a wheel, but right before that. In that, there's links to 3 playlists down there. We got one for me, we got one for Colin, and we got one for both of us combined, along with all the guests that we have on this podcast all the time. In those places, you can find Darlin' by Gene Dawson, or you can find Two-Faced by Linkin Park within there. We got quite a bit of Linkin Park in there now. But not necessarily a bad thing, because it's the good Linkin Park. Yeah, you can go check out those. I kind of want to look at that playlist real quick. Yeah, almost at 400 songs in there. Over.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because we're coming up on episode 200, which is also wild. Yeah, a lot of good content in there. A lot of varying genres and styles. Give it a good shuffle. All good stuff in there, and some AJR. So it's gonna be a great time. Yeah. Other than that, I have links to some personal stuff. I mentioned briefly earlier that I'm working on music. I am, and I know I've said this a few times, but I really do think I'm coming to a point where I'll be able to at least send you guys a little draft of something on a song I've been working on for a bit. So hoping to get that done in the next week or two. But then again, it's going to be a busy couple weeks or so. So who knows? Anyways, the whole reason I'm saying that is because I make music under the name Plaintive. I got links down there for Spotify and Apple Music. Go check out the music that's already out, Coping Mechanism. And some soundtracks too that I'm proud of. But, I know not everyone's going to listen to those. Yeah, we got that, and then I have an album of the year where I rate and review music. Go check out that long Half Alive review if you want some more thoughts specific on songs. I also have my Instagram down there and my TikTok and my YouTube. I don't always mention that one, but that's down there. And I think there's probably something else too, but I'm blanking right now. Head kind of empty today. I'm sorry. Speaking of empty head, that is my relation to you, dear viewer. I am in your wall.
Not again.
Yeah.
Mike.
Have I done that one? Oh crap.
Probably.
That is kind of an obvious one. I must have done that at some point. All right. Since I mentioned head empty, I'm kind of remember like in that one SpongeBob episode where Squidward's like in a little solitude area, and it's like oh, is it forever that they repeat all the time? Forever.
Whatever. Maybe.
Ah,
Future.
yeah, it's in that episode, but he's in the
Yeah.
white room and all those words start popping up. I'm in that white room with our dear
Yeah.
viewer. I'm behind them in the head empty space of the future, I guess. That's me. And Colin over here, he runs our socials. He runs our Twitter page where he updates when episodes are posted, as well as any other news that needs to be updated there. You can find on that Twitter page. Go give it some love. And he also runs our TikTok page where he posts funny little clips of us. And they are funny little clips, let me tell you. So go check out those as well. Give it some love. And he also has some personal things too. He has an album of the year page where he rates and reviews music. He also has a Letterboxd where he rates and reviews movies. Got some stuff up there for that stuff you watched this week?
Sure do. You can go check out my ratings and reviews for all the stuff I watched and listened to this week. So
there you go. He's an up-to-date man.
Oh yeah.
And he also has an Instagram page, which I'm sure also got updated this week, right?
Yeah.
Go check it out. You got to find out for yourself. It's linked down below. And Colin, what is your relation to our dear viewer?
Well, in my attempts to become a happier, more healthy person,
Head full.
I'm going to go try to get into that headspace of head empty.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna join you and our dear viewer in that void, and while we're all in this together, and we're the only people around, we're just gonna find solace in one another and come together in a nice embrace. And it's our viewer in the middle, you behind them, me in front of them. We're gonna be in a nice big embrace, hugging from in front and behind. And then I'm gonna look at you, and that voice is going to say, "Geese, geese, geese, geese." And
what are you saying? Geese?
Kiss, kiss, kiss.
Oh, kiss. Okay, I thought you were saying like quack geese.
Yes. Honk, quack, geese.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I guess they honk more than they quack.
It's gonna be saying "kiss" in that
Yeah.
in that SpongeBob narrator
Yeah.
accent, and we might be a little confused at what they're saying at first, but we'll get it.
Yeah.
And
just like I did right there. We'll get it eventually.
And we'll make it happen. We're gonna smooch on the lips, me and Mike in between. Right next to our dear viewer's ear. A nice sloppy smooch or two or five. And this embrace, we like to call it the love cage. And if you would like your very own, whether you're in a liminal space or a real life address, all you gotta do is drop that address, and we will find you somewhere, some way, sometime. I'm changing it up this week because I forgot what I was going to say.
That's fine.
And how I said it. So we'll find you. You won't know when, you won't know where, but we will find you and give you your very own love cage. So drop that address, dear viewer, and you'll get your very own.
Damn straight. And that will be a very straight time too. It's a very straight, ritual.
There's nothing more straight than kissing the homies. So I'll tell you
exactly. Yeah. All right, everyone.
And,
oh, I'm sorry.
We do that often, but
yes.
come back next week for our artist analysis on the Anderson Pack.
Yeah, and smooch your homies while you're at it.
Please.
Okay. See you next week.